Ah, yeah. Let's see. Mhm. Mhm. I don't think your audio's coming through on YouTube, maybe? Just trying to check here, and I think I
Test. Okay, it should be working now.
Yep. Yep, it's good now. Let's see. Wait, is it good now? Say something again?
Test.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I think it's good.
Okay. So I want to do these guys with contrast paints, at least the core unit. I might do the Pog of the Lesser and Sun Fac a little differently. They usually take more time on the unique characters, but especially for Legion these days, I want to get them painted as fast as I can because I need to catch up on Legion and Shatterpoint and a bunch of other games.
Yeah.
So
There's
I
a
want
lot
to
of guys
find
in a squad.
a good solution for uh, contrast paint. I had not had time to go buy more, so in addition to that, I have to find something that I own that works. And we've been looking at a lot of references. The colors that they use on the packaging are very. It looks kind of brown here. It's sort of a light brown with a green hue. So I'm wondering
Yeah.
if I could. I've got some snakebite leather, which is sort of a. It's a brown. This is the only green I have. I have an army painter green, but I think it's even more sort of like a bright green than this is. I think this is sort of a. It's not like a dark green, but it's not like neon. So
Mantis
maybe
Warriors. I haven't used that one.
So maybe I could mix a little bit of Mantis Warriors into Snakebite. I don't know if that will have the desired effect with like just a brown with a green hue. I also have this Gore Grunt of fur. Because like if you look at the reference, they're sort of a modeled mix of green ish tones, brownish tones, and reddish tones. But I think I just need to pick a solid tone for everybody. I even have Skeleton Horde. I have Wildwood, which I think is going to be way too dark of a brown. So I might
Yeah, I
just.
think so.
I think I'm gonna try mix some of this snakebite leather with this a little bit of this green and see how it looks. Because I think I can just do the full body in contrast, find a different color for the wings, and then do the armor in uh, normal paint. The armor
Yeah, I
is
mean, like you
barely
said, the
even.
speed is one of the factors too. There's like more complicated things you can do that would make it take more time.
Yeah, but I think the wings might just get like a white or gray contrast paint,
Mm, those are
maybe
really
with a
hard to
little bit
tell.
of green. It's just
They're
these
very
guys have
highlighted.
had the most like trouble picking what I should do. So I think I just have to pick something and live with it. Since I'm mixing, I'm gonna
I think
try use my little. my little popper thing.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well like try mixing and see what it looks like, and you don't have to put it on, or you
I
could
gotta put it on something.
some even just like I don't know, you could put it on their bases and then cover it up later too. You know,
Yeah. All right. Let's.
because I feel like to me, let me think.
And if
So
it
I would
works,
say,
and I have different consistencies, so if I only do a little bit for this guy, and then the next guy gets a different ratio, that's fine because then they'll look a little bit more diverse. So let's see. There's.
my personal thought. I'm not saying this to not go forward with what you're doing, but my thought is I usually don't get very good results from snakebite. It doesn't seem like the right type of brown for their skin. It's like very, I don't know. I just never get
Yeah.
results I like. It's kind of like oily and it's a weird mix of dark and
It's sort of got
kind
a
of
yellowy
tan.
orange, which I don't know. That's sort of maybe if I put enough green in a
And I don't know
nice.
what the green would do mixed with it as part of it.
Let's find out. Let's do
I
some
to me the
alchemy.
Gore Grunta seems the closest to what I think of as a Geonosian, just as like their base color. And so like without putting a lot of thought into it, I feel like I would do the whole thing in Gore Grunta, and then I would come back with like a little bit of green, which mine is a different shade of
I
yours,
could
but
always
I would
do
come back
like
with
a
green, put like little spots on it. You know what I mean? And then you
yeah.
could put little spots of snakebite or skeleton horde or something, and then that would bring out the texture variety of their skin and allow you to
Ooh,
control
look at this.
the green. You know what I mean? But that takes longer too.
This oh, the first bit that came out was this really sickly yellow brown, still being a little washed out by my light, but it actually looked kind of nice. I think I need a little bit more green. I think I was thinking just a little green and a lot
It's
of
real
brown, but I'm
interesting. Yeah.
thinking I got to put in some more. It's gonna be all sorts of green up in this bitch.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think the biggest trouble I've had with snakebite is uh maybe just like kind of pools badly, and maybe this won't be true when you've mixed it with something, but I feel like it pools really really dark and oily, and I have to kind of spread it out a little bit to get the lighter yellow brown to show through, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have to go like really thin with it before I get the brown that I actually wanted and not have it just pool really bad.
No,
It's
now
gonna be
it kind
completely
of.
different
I
with the
don't know
green
if
in
you can
there. So
see. It's on the middle there. It's sort of a yellowish. I don't know. This is. I'm just gonna throw it on this guy's leg and see how it
mm,
looks. The problem
yeah.
with contrast colors is if it doesn't work, I can't go over it with more contrast colors because it's already sort of.
Well, yeah, and that's one reason I was thinking I would probably end up doing one color first and then come back and then add a little after, because then I feel like you'd have a little more control of like where you want it to go. You know what I mean?
So I don't
But
know
I don't know. That
how
takes a lot longer too.
Geonosian this looks, but it is a cool bug-looking color. I'll tell you that.
I
It's definitely some sort of
mean, yeah, it's kind of.
pukey green, which is a number of references sort of look like that. This is, I think, close-ish to what they did for their official paint jobs. Obviously, they were. It's clear that they weren't using contrast paints.
But that's what I was gonna say. The shade does remind me of the box art.
Yeah, I think you know what. I don't hate that, and that's the sentiment I'm going for. I really like these models, but there's a lot of them. They're very intricate, and I think if I gave them the full care treatment, it would take a long time.
So the
I
other
don't
question I have
have that.
about them that I haven't looked into since I don't even have any yet, because I'm not a cool influencer like you, but like
Right.
which parts of the model is like clothing or armor or whatever. Like that's the part that I can't tell from reference
Um,
photos. Is like what's actually part of their body or not. What should be like, do they have like metallic armor or is it just kind of
they've got some
like
kind of
leather or
metal
something?
armor. So this, they've got like a little cod. I think I pulled out a frame. They've got a little cod piece here that has a little bit, like I don't know what you'd call it, the thing that goes over your wheel well. There's like a little hip bit on
Hmm.
each one. And then they sort of have a bra. I'm pretty sure this bit is armor just because it's sculpted at the bottom. I'd have to double check. And I think they also have like a little, uh, there's a bit over their butt. But I think that's about it. There's some chest stuff, and then they've got like sort of a skirt. Um,
So you think the two
it's hard
spikes
to even
are?
tell in their art if the spikes are organic or not,
Mm,
which I guess they are
it
painted a
kind of looks like
slightly
armor on the
different
box.
color. I think it's armor.
Yeah, like
I'll
a
have
sort of a
to.
bronze.
I'm not gonna paint it this same color as the body. I'll probably just paint the guns. Maybe the what color are the guns? Should they be a gray or should they be something more earthy?
Gold or something? I don't know.
Yeah, these guys have a lot of sort of brass and gold accents in their armor. Yeah, I think this color scheme is gonna work nicely. Maybe I'll even do it on the other guys. Poggle has a lot of color variation, so maybe I'll take my time with him. But also maybe I won't be able to do it right, and it'll be a lot of weird disjointed colors that don't flow together very well because he's got like some very green spots and some very red spots. What are you painting tonight?
I'm still working on my skeletons. I have made progress and getting semi close to finishing these guys up. I'm probably like overdoing a lot of the details and highlighting, but like I don't know. As much as I tell myself, oh, this is gonna be quick, I'm just gonna speed paint and be done. Like I find myself, I just like have to come back and do more highlights and mess with the colors a little bit, and then sort of went down some small rabbit holes where I was like, well, maybe one of them could be like a little mossier and green, like he's been sitting in a bog or something. Different little things like that. Like maybe this one could be a little different.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it's worth the time. If I'll really ever
And if for a game with your
show
nephew?
up. Yeah, I mean, I could use them for like any D&D game in the future, or even like, like what's the game I'm thinking of? Like Frostgrave or something. Hypothetically, I don't know if they're actually. I don't. I think they could work for that. I don't know how much the specific like bases or anything matter for that.
All right.
Never played that, even though I have it. But
I think I'm gonna put a line of this color down the tops of the wings, like the part that's not supposed to be like translucent.
yeah, the kind of actual limb part of the wing,
Yeah.
and then the membrane part.
I'll probably
I don't
use
know.
like a white or a gray, just because it's, or maybe like a white with a little bit of this green mixed into it, because it's not like
Yeah.
it's not like clear, but it's it's supposed to be a little translucent, which I don't know. Okay, one guy, body work done.
That is looking really, really good, especially now that's kind of settling and now that's on the whole thing. I think that's a great shade.
Yeah, I think it works out good, and it looks a little bit greener in real life than it does on camera.
Mm.
See if changing the lights helps that or not. I'm not sure if you can tell with the change in the lighting, but it definitely has just a nice, not overwhelming hint of just kind of a gross green. And so I guess I'll just keep filling up my little reservoir because this is not going to last me more than a minute or two. And then if different guys have slightly different shades, that's fine. And I can always go over different parts of guys with different consistencies too, so maybe they're not so uniform from head to toe. Okay, Sunfac, you're going to get a little bit of a better treatment than these guys. Let's do the... I think this is my unit leader.
Yeah, which one is even supposed to be? Does he have any different clothing or anything to make him stand out?
No, the only difference is he's flying. There are 3 flying units
okay.
off the ground in the Warriors pack, 2 of which are the heavy weapons, so that I'm just going to go ahead and say the one who's not a heavy weapon is the leader. They're also all lifting
gotcha.
off. Their point of contact is all on their left foot. I guess that must be a deep
species
lore,
trait.
Yeah, deep lore cut.
It's how you show glory to the Geonosian queen.
Yeah, when do we get the queen unit?
At a minimum, I think some type of mission involving the queen as like a some type of like a store event or something. I don't know. That would be really cool, just as a thematic thing. Like,
Well, they'd have to print out like a queen token the size of like the A5 base.
mm-hmm.
Which would be a little more expensive for those kits, but would
Yeah,
be
they could
cool.
do.
Because she's like immobile and underground.
They could do a terrain kit like the crashed AT-AT or whatever that they can sell in stores, and it has the queen terrain and a queen mission that's like protect the queen from, you know, bad guys or something.
They need to release the zombie Geonosian variant, the brainworm variant.
That could be a fun mission too. Like you secretly pick enemy non-droid, non-vehicle, etc., whatever. Like you the enemy picks the Geonosian person picks some that are infected. Or maybe to make it work for non-Geonosian armies, maybe it's both sides are infected or something. So like you secretly pick 4 units, maybe even specifically. Well, but then you're going to face a droid. I don't know. So whatever qualifications, I don't know.
Yeah.
But some way where some enemy units are determined to have, maybe it's just random. They're determined to have brain infections, and they like turn against their own guys or something.
Yeah, you at the start of the game you put tokens face down on all of your opponent's units. Only one of them is infected, and then you just play as normal. And then at some point, you're allowed to reveal that they're infected, and you take control of them, and they get to do the same thing. But then they have a thing like if they inflict damage using a melee attack, like the people they wounded flip sides.
Or maybe, there's some way that you could have it be sort of a solo mission. There's some way to determine how the enemy controls the zombie units, and you have to fight your own units until you eliminate the infection, and you have to find the antidote or whatever.
Running low on my first batch of color. So I was really winging it on that first batch. So this second batch, I'll try and do a 50-50 split of green and brown. I could even do one that's like green and gore grunta. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to risk it after finding a shade I'm pleased with.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how the Gorgrunta would combine with the green. It could be weird.
Yeah.
I feel like you could just add like little bits of Gorgrunta as a second coat pretty easily too, to add some depth to some people's limbs or faces or something.
Yeah. Just add a few splotches here and there of different color. Okay. Painting a pretty butterfly. After I get this guy done, I can whip out some conversation cards.
Mm.
These guys were a lot of fun to play with. They're not like trying to decide if I even want a second squad of them, because the list I played was I had 4 B2s, 2 B1s, and then one thing of these guys, which is a total of 7 core units, because Poggle has Entourage B2, so you can make that work.
Hmm.
And then, so
That's
these
fun. That's
guys
very thematic.
worked well as like I had them and Sunfax try and flank the objective, and that worked. And I feel like adding more of them means less battle droids, which uh, seems like it would just kind of be worse overall. But like having just one of them to be around and be this, because they can go. Their jump 3 is a free action, so they can move, and then do a free jump, which is just another move. So they are very fast. Obviously, they can't fly when they're holding objectives, but they can like get places real quick if you need them to.
That sounds fun. It's something that there aren't a lot of units that can do. I mean, the closest would be like Mandalorians, I guess, but they don't have the like triple move thing.
Here
That's cool.
is a good question for you and anybody in the chat. I see you guys watching in silence. Feel free to chime in with what is your favorite Star Wars starship?
Mm. It's tough to pick one for me. There's a lot of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Nebulon B is one that comes to my mind right away. I love the Nebulon's weird pool shape.
Yeah, none of mine
Uh,
are that large. They're like Falcon size at the biggest.
mhm.
I always go back to uh, Slave One has always been one of my favorites, mostly because Boba Fett's always been one of my favorites. But it is a cool looking ship. Um, Y wings are always some of my favorite. I see a lot of people
Yeah, I mean, they seem like one
talking
of the
smack about Y wings, but they've been there since
yeah,
the start.
they're
They're
one of the less loved letter alphabet
they're
ships for some reason, but I love them.
they're
They're great.
cute. They've got the middle child vibe, which is maybe why I'm uh, drawn to them. Sort of the they're the Luigi of Rebel Starfighters. I do really like
I mean,
the Aether sprite that Kenobi has in Episode 2.
yeah.
You know what? How about favorite ship from each film, starting with Phantom Menace, which there are not a lot of cool starships in Phantom Menace.
I disagree. I like every starship in Phantom Menace.
You like the Nubian class are just kind of. Ooh, hold on, hold that thought. Cam Ward, Art and Hobby says Firespace Fire Spray / Slave One for sure. Falcon, close for my number one. TIE Interceptor and Defender, also really cool. X-Wings Classic.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah, all good points.
I've always thought the Defender is kind of like a weird, like, hey guys, we need a thing for a video game. What
I
what
used
if we
to.
throw more wings on it? It's like,
I came around on it in Rebels. They kind of sleekified it a little bit, and it looks a lot better than the original '90s version. That's really dumb, I think.
yeah, it's
Just
definitely the
visually.
coolest of the like the Legends. Let's make a weird Tie Fighter ties. And you're right, Rebels did a lot to like sort of like rehab my opinion of it and Squadrons. Um, Episode one, I mean, the Naboo starfighters kind of cool. None of them, they're all like well designed for the setting and the film, which sort of pulls them a little bit farther away from like the cool Star Wars ship for me, especially like the Naboo ships. I was never a fan of the Vulture droids. I guess there's technically Gozanti in the background, and
Yeah, there's like a few things on Tatooine or whatever.
I like
I don't know. I think. I mean,
the Republic the ship they arrive in at the very start of the movie that gets blown up. Shields
yeah,
up.
consular class, and
I
Great
guess Darth
Federation. Uh, why am I blanking on the
the Lucre Hulk.
Lucre Hulk? Yeah, I think those are cool. I like Darth Maul's. I honestly think my favorite in Phantom Menace is the Vulture. I think Vulture droids are very cool,
I
and I
wish
love that they're
that we.
brown.
I wish that they had more to do.
Yeah,
Like in
that's fair.
even in Jedi
You seem
Survivor,
for such quick shots.
I thought we were gonna fight one in Jedi Survivor, which could have been an interesting
That would have
boss. And
been
it's like,
cool.
oh, this is the only like starfighter that's also like, a person, so to speak. Like, feel like
Yeah,
there was some missing potential there for use in whatever media. I like
yeah. I mean,
the
in
noises
Jedi
they make.
Survivor, you could definitely have them like walking around. It doesn't even have to be flying, and it would still be like a really cool boss fight. It's like a cool
Oh, like that one
tank
in
at that
the
point.
game Revenge of the Sith on Game Boy.
Less
Um,
annoying. Just hitting you in the head constantly.
Episode 2. Now this
So the
is
Ether Sprite is very good.
obviously Jango Fett Slave 1 is.
Yeah.
I think I like that version better than Boba's version, only because
Wow.
it's. I had the Lego of that one, which was such a big and exciting set to have in 2002, and like, play with that. And then episode 2 was one of the first DVDs we ever had, and like I loved Django in that movie so much. And so that ship is just, it's, the same reason I like uh Boba Fett Slave One, is because, like, well, I love the character so much, but it does cool things in that movie that we don't see Slave One do until, you know Mandalorian.
Yeah, I would say it's a very cool paint job. I like the original paint job better, but it is a very cool one in episode 2. And like honestly, you don't see them try alternate paint jobs that often in the movies. So I think it's cool that they even did.
Yeah, I guess Lando's Falcon had an alternate paint job, which was cool.
Yeah.
But
We'll get to that.
yeah,
What
what
else
else
was
in episode
in?
2?
I think.
Uh, the Geonosian starfighters, I think, are dumb. Well, not dumb. I just don't like them. They fit the
Uh,
aesthetic of the species.
yeah, I like them. They're barely in the movie. I did like them a lot more. Like once I had the model for X-wing, because then I could kind of look more closely. And I mean, they do very much fit the species. They're like very bug looking in a fun way.
And
But they basically do nothing in the movie. You
they
know?
shoot pink lasers. That's cool. That's unique.
Yeah,
Always love
might
a
as well.
non-standard laser blast. Um, yeah,
Let's
I'm drawing
see. We
blanks
see
on
the
other.
at the very end we see acclimators
Yeah,
landing on Coruscant. We
there's
see
another Padme ship.
something for the Separatists.
I like the
Oh
Padme
yeah,
ship
the Padme
in,
one's very good.
especially the one at the start of the movie that blows up. I like that one the best out of all the Padme ships we get. I think that
Yeah,
one, or
it
am
would
I
be cool
thinking
to
of
get more of that,
the one
honestly.
she takes to Mustafar? No, I like the one with the big wide wings and the
Yeah,
Mark
the
IV
bomber wings.
engines.
That one's
Yeah.
great.
Cam Ward, Art and Hobby says, haha, like the Lego. I like the Lego connection. I had a friend with the clone gunship and thought it was so cool. And yes, as a kid, it was cool to see Django use all the gadgets. Man, that's still one of my favorite bits in that movie is when he throws down with Obi-Wan in the rain. It's such an awesome sequence. Still get sad when he dies. It's like
Were there
every time I watch that movie, I'm like, maybe he'll be smart and not go down there this time.
see like Lucre Hulk spheres, but are there do we see any other like separatist ships landed there or something?
Uh,
Like
we see
the
Dooku's shuttle, the Solar Sailor.
I honestly don't like that one
I
personally.
like I like that they took a shot with it and said, what if it had like
Yeah,
a parasol? But not a fan of the ship.
yeah, agreed.
But
I think
that
that's
might be
basically
about
Attack of the
it
Clones.
for. All right, Revenge of the Sith probably has a lot more. I like
A lot of good capital ships.
yeah,
It's the first time we see a Venator with the invisible hand. Uh
the Millennium Falcon's in that movie, I guess technically.
oh, is it?
Yeah, it's in the it's about in it for like 3 seconds or so. Um, not even. It's like really tiny. It's at the bottom of the frame as the camera pans in to the Senate building when they arrive there after the intro.
I don't think I knew that.
Like if you didn't know it was there, you'd probably once you
Yeah,
know,
just
then
another
you
little
look and you
thing
go,
flying
oh,
around.
okay, yeah, it's pretty small.
I think
Um,
for the Battle of Coruscant, I really like the Munificent class for the Separatists. I feel like we do not see a recusant at that battle.
which one is that?
There's Tri-Fighters. I like Tri-Fighters.
You know what? I like Vulture droids more than I like Tri Fighters.
Dang.
Possibly because they were more fun to play as in the original Battlefront 2.
The Vultures? Oh, the original.
Yeah,
The original.
but
I
also the
loved
vultures are
Tri-Fighters in
cooler
new
because
Battlefront 2.
the vultures, they're a little bit. They've got more personality because they can land and walk around and chit chat with each other.
Yeah, I just like how the Tri-Fighters like spin. I don't know. They're kind of fun. You and it's like I guess another point. You have the alternate paint scheme vultures in Revenge of the Sith, so maybe you like that better too than the Trade Federation brown ones.
Yeah.
We get
Um.
Venators, Acclimators. That might be the only. Oh, we get Arc 170s. I honestly don't like Arc 170s. They're
I don't
I don't
either.
think it came together. You know,
Yeah.
it's like too much of a mishmash. I like V
I
wings. I
like the
think we get a
sound
quick
the
shot of
Arc
a V wing.
170s make.
That's fair.
They've got great sound effects. The V wings are cool. V wings are fun too, also because of the sound. They just gave them Tie Fighter noises. Um, the
Eta
shuttles,
twos, I honestly don't like.
the shuttles they have are cool. The Eta twos, those are the
Mm,
Jedi Starfighters.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
I don't
those
like
either.
them. They're too
Give
little.
me the other ones, the dagger shaped Aether Sprites.
Yeah, agreed. What shuttle were you talking about?
The one that picks up charred Darth Vader at the end, the prequel to the Lambda shuttle.
Oh,
Those are kind of
yeah.
fun.
I forget what that one's called. Those are
Uh,
fine.
Okay, well,
What
best
else? We have a
best.
new Padme ship.
Hmm. I guess best ship from that movie is probably a Venator then, huh? Don't care much for Grievous's starfighter.
Yeah, honestly, it's kind of dumb. I think for me, if I had to pick, I really like V Wings. I would be tempted to say V Wings, but I also like the Munificent. So I'm
Which
not
one is
sure.
the
One of those two.
Munificent?
It's the separatist one that kind of has a big round front. It's the
Oh, the
non flagship.
yeah.
It's like a big wide front, and then the back is kind of things sticking out, sort of like a
Hmm.
Nebulon or something. It's not the super long, skinny one, the recusant, which I think
Yeah,
is not in the movie.
I know what you're talking about because those were in the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I think we see. I think that's what we see broadsiding with a Venator, which is not a fair trade-off. At least in an Armada, the Munificent's gonna get smoked. But it's a cool shot. I feel like I'm missing some because there's like lots of random.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
Uh,
shots on Coruscant. Oh, I've
yeah,
always liked
more
the
shuttles and stuff.
so when Anakin is told to stay put while Mace Windu and the other guys go to arrest the Chancellor, when he relents and gets into a little speeder to fly over there, I've always liked the look of that. It was either just like a one or two seater, sort of like a stingray shape,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and not I guess not a
Well,
starship,
if
but
we're
I
counting
always
speeders,
well, it might be a starship.
pod
It's
racers.
enclosed. It's probably space worthy. Unlike Organa's speeder, which is awesome because it just looks like a car from like the 40s.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. How about any ships from the Clone Wars?
Uh, no one seems to agree with me, but I like V19 turrets. I think they like for once. I don't think they usually are that great about ship designs in the cartoon, but I like the Torrent. It's like a nice bit of old school jank without going crazy like the Arc 170. So I like them.
Because that one they were like, well, it needs to have some kind of rotating wing. Because that's the
Yeah,
one where it's
which I love. It's unnecessary, but I guess you have to land. I don't know. Yeah, the thing like flips down. It goes like, well, the side wings fold up too, if I remember right. And then yeah, that middle wing like points up, and then when it takes off, it like rotates under, which I think is fun.
I can't think of
Are there
any.
Y wings in the movie too? I forget.
Um, I don't remember what's in the Clone Wars movie. I'm thinking of the
For
show in
sure in the
particular.
show. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not a fan
I
of the Republic era Y wings because
agreed.
they haven't hit that underdog status yet.
Yeah, agreed. And I don't like the Republic C95s either. They're kind of like I don't know. Well, they're fine, but
Um,
not really super into them. What are some other ones from the show?
Anakin's that ship they
Uh
have at the beginning that for the
oh,
movie and a
the
couple seasons, the Twilight, I think it's called. I always thought that was hideous.
I kind of like it. I like the jank of the uh asymmetric
I
look
liked when they brought
personally.
it back in season 5 when Obi-Wan borrowed it. Um,
Which could be what I'm remembering too.
they used it a lot in the movie in the first season, and then when Obi-Wan goes on his own to Mandalore to help save Satine, he takes it, and it's like actual like non-functional garbage, like of a ship where like the landing thing does barely even like it doesn't even go down all the way. He's got to like stomp on it.
I should remember the model type since it's one of the starting ships in Outer Rim, but I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, it is the better of the two
Um,
starting ships in Outer Rim because it's faster.
yeah. Speaking of Mandalorians, the gauntlets in Clone Wars, right?
Uh, yeah, the Gauntlet is, and that's been one of my favorite ships. I always
I
liked it
don't like the
since that
gauntlet
movie.
personally, but
I think it's cool.
I think we see I can't think of the model type off the top of my head. In eventually when we got it in Rebels, it was the Phoenix Home.
Oh, the
You know,
Pelta?
it looks
Is that
like
what it's called? The Pelta?
Pelta. Yes, thank you. The Pelta, I think, is in Clone Wars. Uh, I mean, we get more ships for both factions, right? Like the Recusant is in the cartoon, I believe. I like the Recusant. I like how skinny and dumb it is.
I like
Um,
the oh, I just draw a blank. What ship was I about to reference? Never mind. Another guy done. Here's these guys are going pretty fast.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm assuming this guy, since his arms aren't in front of him, you can see his little outfit better. I'm assuming this spikes is sort of this sort of like sports bra type armor top, and then his little skirt.
Okay.
So
Do you
all of them,
think
I'm gonna paint this bit as like armor.
that there is some kind of fleshy body part inside the spiky armor? That's and the armor's protecting it. Or like
Uh,
if they take their armor off, do they have flesh spikes underneath? Or is it just completely
I will,
decorative?
despite the fact that he's a little bit different anatomically than the rest of them, which is, normal for bug species. Um, he doesn't have anything of the sort,
Oh,
so
that's
maybe
fair.
they don't. So it might just be
Maybe
armor.
he chopped him off. Maybe he had an accident. That's why he's Paul the Lesser. He had some limbs
he's
removed.
got he's got less appendages. This guy, if you watched my short about assembling, this guy was one to watch out for. This is the sonic cannon. Even though they all have like sonic blasters, I guess this guy gets a sonic cannon. It had like a
Mhm.
buttstock that snapped off when I was trying to shave down a mold line. It doesn't really
Still
affect the look
kind of looks
of
cool like
the.
that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he's not like holding the buttstock to his shoulder anyways. He's holding it in a very weird, awkward angle where he's like sort of just holding it while he's flying and he's not like aiming it anywhere. Kind of weird. I tried to see if I could like orient it so maybe it looked like he was. I don't know. It doesn't look like he's aiming it. He's just sort of like limp wristing it.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. He's about to pull it up to shoot. You know, he's taking off, so it's
Yeah,
fine. I think
none of them are.
peop
None of these guys are in flight. They're all just moments after lifting off, and
so that their
there's
feet
no
can still touch.
yeah, there's no way really to easily swap these guys to flight stands either, which I don't mind some of this stuff, but with these guys I would have liked flight stands just because they could be higher off the ground and in a
Yeah.
pose that's like I'm mid-flight rather than I'm like taking off. But the way that these are sculpted, the foot is really meshed with this I guess it's just like a plume of dust, and it would be real hard to like extricate the foot from the dust if you wanted to like mod it onto a flight stand. I think.
I honestly would not have minded if they just had tactical rocks, but I don't get the plume of dust thing is so strange looking to me. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
look like
like
anything.
I like this one. I like Sun Fac. He's got a rock that he's like leaping off of. So hopefully the tactical dust will. Because that's the other thing. I've got to paint it in a way that it reads like dust.
Yeah, his
So
rock looks really good. If I get some, I honestly think I would probably green stuff that into a rock or something. The smoke, whatever that is,
oh yeah.
uh,
Or
or
you could
something.
put like a dead uh, Jedi or clone under his foot. But yeah, you'd have to see how the toes are sort of really baked into the dust. Anybody
I could
just
also,
joining, we're painting the Geonosians for Legion. I got some early copies and
yeah,
trying to I've come up with a about 50-50 snakebite leather Mantis Warriors green contrast paint has been giving me a greeny brown color that I'm
Greeny green
very
ones.
satisfied with. They look a little greener in real life than they are on the camera, but they look pretty close to the shade that AMG used on their studio art, on the box art. So I was worried, but we came out okay. And we're also discussing our favorite starships.
Oh yeah, we were in the middle of that. We were talking Clone Wars, the show. We were going movie by movie, and show by show. We
Use
were in the
our
middle of the Clone Wars.
I like the ship. I don't know if you remember when the younglings get Hondo shows up to try and kidnap a bunch of younglings and like sell them,
So you have
try to
his
like human
UFO
traffic
or
them.
some other ship.
Oh, the UFO I don't hate, but I don't love it. I think it's fun that they did that. But I don't like. It's not one of my favorites. But no,
Yeah.
the ship that Huang had that they take the kids to Illiman, and then that's where like they build their lightsabers on that ship. Um,
Yeah, I don't remember.
it's got a kind of some sort of like Republic / Old Republic vibes. I thought that ship was pretty cool. Um, okay, well, moving on from Clone Wars, now we've got uh comes next chronologically.
Uh,
Solo, Andor,
yes.
Kenobi does.
Solo,
I
I
don't think there
think.
was any interesting ships in the Kenobi show. The Inquisitor
There's just
ship
like some
was
transport
okay.
shuttles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of. It was their shuttle was kind of cool.
Um. So after Kenobi, then we've got Solo.
Which the Lando Falcon is so good.
Uh huh.
I do like the Thai Brute. Is that the final name it ended
Oh
up being?
yeah, I think
I think it's
so.
kind of cool, but it's not as cool as the Lando Falcon. There's
Um.
also the Edgehawk class speeder carrier,
That's not in the
Memphis Nest
movie.
thing. Don't you see? Oh, you don't see it pick them up, do you?
It's not in the movie.
Okay,
It's only
you're right.
in Outer Rim and the like
Well,
art
Outer Rim was
book.
where it was named, but I thought
I
you
think it. They. I
saw it
thought they pulled it
in a shot.
from an art book. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe.
The
No,
Edgehawk.
you maybe only see them on their speeders.
I think the Falcon is really the only notable ship from that movie. Oddly enough, Dryden Voss's ship is fine, but
Oh,
not
I like
like.
that. I like a ship. I
Why
think it's
can't I
cool.
remember what that's called? I just read a book where they spent a lot of time on that ship. The Crimson Climb
I don't
about
remember.
Kira was very. I really liked it, and she's cold blooded. She did a lot of gruesome things happened that she did not even blink at, or she caused a lot of gruesome things to happen.
Oh, AT Hauler would be another solo one,
I think
which
that ship is
I
dumb.
oh I kind of like them, but I mean it's no Lando Falcon.
Also, why does it have a
Uh,
shower? Why does it have a shower, and why does it have a hyperdrive? It's just to pick ships, AT-ATs off the ground, put them in the star destroyers. Why does it have a shower and a hyperdrive?
well, sometimes you pick up the crew from an AT that you picked up. And they've been in a long shift. There's no showers on AT-ATs, so they're ready to jump in.
Just
I don't know.
immediately.
They got some bad BO. They've been locked in this tin can. It doesn't make sense, but I kind of like it anyways.
Like it wouldn't have been hard for the writers to like
Should have been like a
immediately move
hose or
them
something.
to like their home ship, because obviously like you'd think Tobias and company would have had their own ship, because it seemed like the AT hauler was their only ship, which is weird.
Yeah, that would have made sense. I
Um,
guess the AT hauler is what they take to the train heist too,
yeah,
right? I kind of I don't know. I like the AT hauler overall. It's a fun shape, and I like the cockpit is kind of fun to me for some reason. I don't know why. Are there any other random ships I'm forgetting? We get the name drop of ECX
ECX.
100, but we don't see it.
Um,
And we see a Star Destroyer, but that's not new. Yeah, I don't know. It's Lando Falcon all the way. Would you qualify the escape pod as a separate
I would not call that
vessel?
a starship.
I feel like it has an engine and it flies in space.
Okay, well, it's not as cool as the Falcon.
Yeah, that is true.
It also must
What's
just be
next?
the most appetizing thing because maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like a creature that evolved to live next to like a sort of singularity would learn that no matter what, even if something looks tasty, you don't cross that event horizon or whatever where it'll suck you in. What's after Solo? That'd be Rogue One and or Rebels.
uh, yeah, did Rebels or Andor technically happen slightly earlier?
Andor happens before Rebels.
Okay.
Rebels is sort of concurrent with Rogue One, which obviously happens after Andor.
See,
I
so
like the
Andor
weird, like,
has
not Y-wing ship he uses a couple times in that show that he takes from the scrap or the shipyard.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, it's not like crazy, but it's fine. I like it.
There's
There's like kind of
also,
several cool ships at that junkyard. There's like a Lancer and stuff.
yeah. So I was gonna say the Lancer
Oh, I
class.
know. My favorite is the Cantwell class arrestor cruiser
Oh, I
that what's his name blows up.
oh that no, his ship is the coolest. I want his ship. It's asymmetrical. It's got all sorts of you know
It's cool.
gadgets. I like that ship a lot. It's sort of like the vaguely like a decimator, but for cool guys. Luthen's
It's cool,
ship.
but my favorite is the arrestor, which he blows up. And I love that we
The
get a cool scene of it.
Arrestor's kind of just a weird ship. I don't know.
Oh, I love it. I
Another
love
one
it.
that I'm pretty meh on. And the only reason I think it's neat is because it's something that they pulled out of like the old concepts. But also there's like a reason that they never used it before. They were probably like, we can do better.
I like it. I think it's a cool shape. We also get the like troop transport things for the corpos.
Yeah.
Those were kind of cool. They're fine.
Not cool enough to make me buy that Lego set they made of it. They made one Lego set for that show and it was that ship.
I feel like we're forgetting. Were there some other ones?
Um doesn't Marva have a ship that he like sleeps in with uh
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
the
I don't even remember what the crashed ship on the jungle planet looked like. It wasn't a consular, was it?
time
I
for
don't know if we really see it
rewatch?
that well.
I don't.
Yeah,
All I
honestly.
remember about that crash is they all had separatist
Or the
insignia, but they
inside.
were referred to as Republic people, and they never like clarified why that was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was going to be some sort of false flag mission. Rebels, best ship, the Ghost.
Yeah. Easy. So
Runner
cool.
up, the Shadowcaster.
Love the Shadowcaster. Love it. Both the Phantoms are cool.
Phantom 2, way better.
Inquisitor tie is good.
The
Their tie defenders are good.
the
I guess
Fang
it's
Fighter's
arguably a
pretty
tie defender
nice.
prototype. Oh, I love the Fang Fighter.
So
I like it
what
way
does the
better than the
Fang
Gauntlet.
Fighter do for you that the Gauntlet doesn't? Because they're sort of the same. Just one's bigger.
Yeah, I think the bigness of the Gauntlet makes it like too silly. Like there's, I don't know. weird that it has giant transforming wings and like a tiny cockpit. And I don't know. I feel like they just nailed the shape better with the Fang. It's I like the angles and like the thickness of the wings and stuff better. I don't know how to describe it, but I think it looks cool in the gauntlet. Does not appeal to me.
Um.
We get it was the first time we saw the hammerheads brought into canon.
Mm-hmm. The
Those are cool.
interdictor,
Yes.
the quasar carrier.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, what else we got?
We eventually get like all the or a lot of the rebel standards. Like we get Nebulons at some point, and we get
Mm-hmm.
I mean obviously like there's like a CR90 and stuff,
Get
but
the chimera.
I do like that they have the CR90s like painted blue, right? If I'm remembering right, like when we see them in the rebel fleet. Well, I
I
love the
think there's
a lot of good A
technically.
wings.
I'm not a big enough of a ship nerd to know, but I thought there was a number of different models of CR90, so maybe it's like CR89 or whatever, because of just the differences in what they called them, because they've been called Corellian corvettes and Alderaan corvettes, as well as differences in scale from what we see in Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So I feel like there maybe it's legend stuff, but I thought there was just a number of like technically these two ships are different models, which is also maybe why they had them blue in Rebels is because it was blue in Revenge of the Sith.
There's
I
also
think
like various cool shuttles and things. I mean, we eventually get like X-wings and stuff. They're cool. I love all the different A-wing paint jobs that we get. I mean, we have like the
mm-hmm.
classic blue based on the McQuarrie art, but there's like green ones. There's like gray and red.
Ooh, I
There's
love Hera's
it's kind of like Hera's.
Green Squad
Oh, we get the
X-wing.
B-wing prototype. Oh yeah, we get some cool X-wing paint
It's
jobs.
also cool because they finally gave a good reason why the B-wing is called the B-wing. The Blade Wing.
Yeah,
Rogue One, best ship in Rogue One. I do really like the U-wing, but
yeah.
um, the Ghost is in Rogue One, so that's the best ship in Rogue One.
It's like barely in it.
Well, it's in it.
For me, Rogue One ships, I would probably say
The
the
Death Star.
Hammerhead. Even that. And when we get the TIE Strikers, which I do think are very cool, and the TIE Reaper, which is okay.
Yeah, I like the U-wing a
Um,
lot, especially I think when a ship is just that right size between U-wing
yeah,
and Ghost, it feels like it has that fun potential to be the player ship for an RPG. Where like I could see myself
yeah.
settling down in that, having an adventure.
We also get the MC-75, the Profundity for Admiral
Oh yeah,
Radis. I like that ship. I think that's cool. Oh, and we got Brahatak class Dornian gunships, barely in there. I think those are cool.
oh
They're
yeah,
kind of
that
that
one.
janky little ship.
That's the one where because that was just a throwaway model in the background of Return of the Jedi,
Yeah.
and there was a number of ships in that they just threw stuff together because they knew they were going to be in the background and out of focus. And that whoever was the guy responsible for designing that ship in Return of the Jedi, when they were like, "Hey,
It's
we're
very
putting
kit
this in the
bashed.
movie. We're putting this in Rogue One. That thing you made is finally like going to get like a high res, like you did it, man." And he was like, "Why would you do that? It was ugly, and we knew it was ugly. That's why it was in the background." He's like, "Why are you putting this in the movie?" I don't even
I
remember
like
what
them
that
though.
looks like. It sort of looks like that. I already forgot the name of that separatist ship you liked, the Recumbent class. the
The Munificent. Yeah, it has
yeah.
the rounded front. It's kind of like a CR90, but without the huge engines, and there's all these janky things
Oh,
sticking off everywhere that I think are fun.
I want to jump back in the timeline just ever so slightly for
Hmm?
the Stinger Mantis, one of my current favorite Star Wars
Oh yeah,
ships.
good point.
That's such a good ship.
Yeah, I like it.
Um,
I'm sure there's other things in Rebels. There's like honestly so many starships in that show,
okay, so now we
and
got
it's
A New
good.
Hope. I think the winner's going to be, for me, either the Falcon or the Y Wing. Not too much
Falcon
else
is
in that
definitely
show.
good, but I mean, I really like X-wings are so classic. It's hard for me to pass them up, even though I also love Y-wings. I do really love X-wings. They're very good. I mean, classic TIE fighters are obviously good. They're classic for a reason. What's some other? I mean, I love the CR90. It is a classic. The whole opening shot, really getting to like see all the Star Destroyer details coming overhead is really good. The Star Destroyer is a classic.
Uh,
What
gonna
else do we have though?
every every anything in that movie is a classic. So
Yeah.
it's understood.
Was a New Hope special edition where we technically get a Hawk 290, or was it maybe in Phantom Menace?
Oh,
It's in like one frame or something.
I thought the special edition might have been where we got the Outrider,
Oh, the Outrider. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
which chronologically, obviously, we get in Rebels first.
Oh,
Um,
yep, we forgot it.
Empire Strikes Back. Well, it's because it's not as cool as other stuff.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back. Gonna give that one to Slave One.
It's the Nebulon for me. That's the first time we see it. Uh it's funny to think that like in that movie it was like, "Oh, here's like basically the flagship, at least as far as the movie's concerned." Um but GR-75s I love. Super Star Destroyer Executor
Oh
is
yeah.
in Empire. TIE Interceptors. Those are, or no, that's
No,
not till
those don't
Return of the
show up
Jedi.
until Jedi.
We have TIE Bombers and Empire Strikes Back,
Oh,
which they're
I
good.
love the TIE Bomber, sort of, because it fits that same like middle child role that the Y Wing does, as far as like the TIE series goes. Like, it's just
Yeah.
the slow little guy, but he's cool. It
Uh
probably also
we
helps that there was
technically
a long stint in my life when playing X-Wing 1.0 where I played so many TIE bombers and was like the only
Mhm.
person who was playing them, so that made me felt a special connection to them.
we technically also get a very quick shot of a TIE shuttle, which is based on the TIE bomber, right? I think we see one taking
What
off from the Executor.
is it?
Isn't that?
Is was that like retconned to say, yeah, by the way, that was a shuttle, or was it like did was the
No,
model
you can,
actually different?
yeah, you can tell the model's different. I think it has the wings flipped, if I'm
Oh,
thinking right.
interesting.
And that's, yeah, it's I mean, you can barely tell, but it is in the movie. It was like a separate model. As
Yeah.
far as I know, if I'm
Well,
remembering that right.
learn something new every day.
We technically see we see some bounty hunter ships take off. They do not match the canon versions
What?
later, but I think, yeah,
We
you see
see them
like
take off?
you see one. I think they called it the Houndstooth in the CCG, but it's not shaped like the real Houndstooth.
Yeah.
It's like a weird little boxy thing.
How have I
I don't
never
know.
like noticed a non-imperial ship taking off from the Executor in that movie?
I think you see one take off. Yeah, like,
Well, no, how have I never noticed
oh,
this?
I mean it's very small, but yeah, I think you see a little thing like go down and then fly away from the Star Destroyers, like
Huh.
the first scene that you get back from that, whenever that would be. I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering right.
That's crazy.
I'll have to see. I feel like that's when I had the CCG card for, and it's like, like trying to like zoom in on those movie stills that are like so blurry. And it's like, what does this ship look like? And it does not, or maybe I think it was the Houndstooth according to the CCG, but it does not look like the canon Houndstooth. I don't know. What are some other ships? If we're including speeders, we get air speeders, obviously.
The T-47 is one of my favorite vehicles, but it's not a
So
starship.
good. Yeah. I wish we had more of them. They're kind of. It's surprising they didn't show up.
I
We
was
got them in Kenobi,
I
or
was so
no?
excited when
Yeah,
they showed up
Kenobi.
in Kenobi because I was like, yeah, airspeeder. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen them in other things. Like, I guess we wouldn't have seen them in Rebels because it's obviously it's a new edition in Empire because they're trying to adapt them and stuff. Um, well, maybe they're not a
Yeah,
new edition because the Rebels had them in Kenobi. They just never needed to have them cold
right.
weather. Damn it, give me some
Yeah.
more
Let's have
air
some speeder
speeders.
battles. Yeah. Uh oh, do cloud cars count? We see a cloud car really quick, right? In
They're
Empire.
presumably space worthy. Those things are silly.
I don't know. I think of them as an air speeder, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're pretty they look cool, but they don't make sense.
All right,
I like the shape of them.
I've got the skin color done on the warriors.
Hmm.
The question is, do I just say whatever and do this on Poggle and Sunfac as well? And I can give little touch-ups on them uh, later? Because this is pretty solid. I'm very pleased with how that's looking.
Yeah, would you want one of them to you could like change up the mix slightly, like go more green or go more brown?
Yeah, with reference footage or pictures of Poggle, he's got such like a wide range of uh color. Like his shoulders are sort of green and his chest is whatever. So I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. I might. I'm just gonna focus on this unit, and I'll save those two for later, and then that might mean my mix. If I do go back with this, the mix will be slightly different, so that'll be okay. Like Sunfac, maybe he could be more brown.
And I could see finding room for some Gore Gruntifer on Poggle somewhere, like
Yeah,
maybe some of his face details or some spots or something, because I think he comes
yeah,
across pretty reddish.
yeah. He's a lot of the skin is sort of mottled with texture of different colors. So I think I'll save those guys for later. Let me see if I think I'm just gonna throw. What do I want to do for the wings? For their wings, it's almost the same color as the the body, just a little lighter. So what I could
Hmm.
do is paint the wings the same color and then dry brush like a light gray to pick up the details in the wings, the veins, or I don't know, try to do like a gray with green or a white with green.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Hmm. Let me look at some reference pictures real quick. Now
Yeah,
this
what do the wings look
picture,
like on the box again?
they look very similar to the skin color,
Hmm.
just with a little bit lighter and all the little veins are sort of picked out a bit.
Hmm.
So if I did it with this same color, wouldn't be the worst. This,
I
I'm
think I would
looking at a
want them to be more
picture,
different though.
yeah, where the wings are more green. don't hate. I'm gonna post some. If
Mm.
you're on our Discord, you can look at the painting and crafting channel to see what I'm looking at with these reference photos. The Lego one, the wings are just sort of a brown.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe I should try paint Sun Fac to look like the Geonosians in Republic Commando, who are creepy and more
Extremely
more gray and
muddy and
red. Yeah. The the live action one looks like it's just supposed to be translucent with some brown
mm.
seeping into it. So maybe I could just paint it white. Maybe I'll do contrast white with a little bit of green and uh, some of these toys. The wings are just pure green.
They're
Yeah,
definitely very green in the one picture you posted, and like pretty white in the second photo.
yeah.
But I think that
This
would
is
look
just
weird on the mini.
the white.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
I'm gonna I'm gonna use
Look like bone or
some
something.
uh what is this called? Apothecary white, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of the green
Okay.
into it, and we'll see what that looks like. And the bits of stuff that I already scattered onto different wings because I wasn't being super careful. We'll see if that looks bad or okay. Because the live action one, it almost looks like the brown color of the skin from the ridge of the wing is like dripping into the veins of the wing. So
Sure.
I can, if it, I can just say, hey, that was intentional.
Either way, it makes sense to start with the light, like the whitish, like you said, and then you can always add more color afterwards if it um,
Yeah.
more easily than taking it away, obviously. So
Let's use apothecary with a little bit of green. Hold on, this guy's fingers didn't get done. I also need to look at what color the guns are. I'll probably be using a very bright green for the tips of their guns, where like the
mhm.
Sonic business comes out, just because that'll contrast a lot, and even if it's a little bit more bright than the Sonic cannons are supposed to be, it'll stand out and make you go, "Oh yeah, those guys have weird sound guns." It's not even a
But
gun
I thought
sound. It's like
Sonic was blue.
a, and that's the end
It's
of
like
the
a wah
stream,
wah or
everybody.
something.
Yeah, it's like a fart noise. It's like blah, blah, blah. I want to see a recut of episode 2, the Battle of Geonosis, where all the Sonic cannons just have big old fart noises. Oh yeah, they gave that gun to the Imperial officer in the original Battlefront too,
Oh yeah.
for whatever reason, because for balance purposes, I guess they needed to give him like a weird gun.
Okay.
Man, I want to play some Battlefront 2, the new one, but every time I try, my computer says, "Nah, how about it crashes?"
Yeah. I was honestly thinking about the Starfighter mode the other day. Um, like it had, if I'm remembering right, it had like in most ways Squadrons was better, but there were like a few cool maps that I miss from Battlefront. They'd be like, I wish we could have just like got those in Squadrons somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I was thinking of like the Fondor shipyard, right? That was such a classic map. I was like, I wish I could
Oh
still play
yeah.
it, but I doubt there's matches to join, you know?
I'm
If you
PC.
could
Well,
play
actually,
that map,
it's
but with Squadrons game mechanics, you know?
it's probably more populated on consoles these days, probably. But I don't have the drive to like play on my console because I only have like half of everything unlocked on the console and all of everything unlocked on the
Yeah.
PC. All right. Well, I guess we're on to Star
Return of the
Wars
Jedi.
Outlaws.
Oh.
I don't even remember what her ship looks like, but it was probably cool.
Yeah, I don't really remember either. Some type of cool freighter thing that I remember thinking was fine.
Okay, now we're on a Return of the Jedi.
Should we do uh Shadows of the Empire?
No.
Okay. Um Return of the Jedi. A lot of great ships.
Um,
We get the Lambda shuttle like right out the gate. It's a classic.
the
We
new
get
additions are
multiple
A-wing
different
interceptor,
Lambda.
A-wing interceptor, and Lambda. What are the differences in the Lambda shuttles?
So I didn't realize this, and I think it was must have been an EC Henry video when he was talking about them recently. Um, the there's like three different paint jobs we get on the
Oh
Lambda
yeah, they're very
between the
subtle.
Tidarium and Vader. Yeah, and I forget specifically, but I think it was Palpatine's that has a gray stripe on the nose, and I was like, oh, you can see that. And I've just like never noticed before.
Um,
But
I
yeah, you're
mean,
like you said, we get the A wing and the B wing,
in the
which are both
interceptor.
great. TIE Interceptor's great. A lot of capital ships too. We get MC-80s, both Home One and Liberty. Of the two, I think the Liberty is way cooler, personally, with the wings. All those random background ships that you cannot see in the Rebel fleet. Some of those are actually in Empire, but there's a bunch in Return of the Jedi as well.
Um,
I think the Empire basically just has Star Destroyers. I don't think they have any bonus ships in there, which is too bad. They could have had a
I
few.
mean, canonically, the Imperial Raider was there, according to Battlefront 2.
True. Yes, that's a good point. I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch. I mean, we basically just listed them all out. It's like
Yeah, I think
B-wing in those rebel capital ships.
again, Falcon or Y-wing are going to be my picks here. Um, so here's the green mixed with the white. I think it's fine.
Hmm.
It's obviously not covering up the overflow of the other stuff, but I think I am okay with that, and it'll just add a little bit of texture and hopefully not look like sloppiness.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And
You
again,
know,
it looks like it's showing up as a little less green. Something about my camera setup, the green wavelength does not get into the camera. It looks a little bit more green in real life, but I think it's fine, and it has a nice contrast from the rest of the body.
yeah, I think that's the big thing. Um, that really makes it look better than the box art.
So we're
It's
gonna go
cool.
with this. So it's mostly apothecary white with a bit of that green in there, which goes a long way. What do
Any
we got on
other
the
Return
TV
of the Jedi
shows?
ships? I feel like we probably got all the Return of the Jedi, but I mean the Jabba's sail barge doesn't count. We kind of get just like X-wings and Falcon again. Think there's really any special ones there. If you had to pick one just from Rebel capital ships, what do you like best?
Oh, just Rebel capital ships.
Because you seem to be focusing on fighters and
Yeah, I'm not
freighters
much of a.
overall.
I'm not as big of a capital ship guy. My pick would probably be. Um, maybe just like a CR90 then.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not as drawn to the capital ship. It's too many people. Too impersonal.
I will say personally, I don't like Home One as much as a lot of people. Uh, it needs to have some cool stuff sticking out of it. I think like the Liberty is way cooler.
Liberty,
Rest in
liberty,
peace.
liberty.
Rip
Did
to
it?
a real one. They
That's
should
the
have
one
blown
that
up
got
Home
the
One.
first blast.
Yeah.
That thing's operational. Uh, all right. So now we go into the TV shows.
Filoniverse.
Yeah, we can count them all as one. Obviously, Razor Crest, pretty cool.
Razor Crest is great.
Uh, Get Slave One back. That's cool. We get to
Yeah.
see more of the
The
interior, which is
inside.
awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, we
Get
forgot about
gauntlets
Bad Batch,
again.
by the way.
Oh.
Their ship is okay.
Their shuttle's fine.
It's like a goth lambda.
And we get Cad Bane's
His ship
new
is
ship that
dumb.
has like the transforming wing thingy that happens.
Maybe the
I don't mind it, but it's
weirdest
not great.
like pivot item of any Star Wars ship. Uh, all right, that's Bad Batch.
Okay.
Trying to think of any other cool
um,
ships from the shows.
see Filoniverse. We see like
Ahsoka's ship isn't new because it was from the Clone Wars. It just looks a bit
the live
more.
version does look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly like live versions of old ships. I
Ooh,
feel
the
like there's the Live Goes Ante and I forget what
an
else. Live
E-wing.
Gauntlet. The live E-wing looked really good,
I've never
honestly.
cared for the E-wing, but it did look pretty cool in Ahsoka.
Agreed, 100%. There's a bounty hunter ship that we see Din blow up in like a season 1 episode.
Ooh, I really liked the old Greg's ship.
Old Greg.
The seaweed pirate.
Oh, yeah. Yep, the pirate
I liked his ship
cruiser was very cool.
and the fighters.
Yeah. Why don't we have those in X-Wing? Come on, AMG. Those were cool. Hmm.
Hmm.
I feel like we got a lot at different points.
I'm gonna put a lot on. Oh, never mind. Someone just joined and then they immediately left before I could force them to tell us shit.
I keep hearing leaving and joining sounds, and I'm not looking, but I wonder if it's real.
Is there a sound effect?
I thought so.
Not
Like a
on-
bloop.
Maybe it's the
Thought so.
Discord noise. I have all Discord sounds muted, but there shouldn't be any like
Oh, okay.
YouTube noises every time a viewer.
Oh, not on YouTube. Sorry.
Um,
We also got Shin Hati's fighter.
I like
whatever
that
was
one
called.
a lot. It looks like some
was
kind
cool.
of World War II airplane.
Yeah.
We got
the giant ring ship.
Is that a ship? I thought that was just like a space station.
I mean, it flew
that in
hyperspace.
Ahsoka. I was thinking
Yeah,
about
in Ahsoka. Sorry.
that episode of Book of Boba Fett where Boba Fett wasn't in it. And it was Mando. That was a real cool setting.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we got the new the silver N1. I really liked that.
I like that a lot too. Some people are like, oh, it's fan service. I'm like, it looks really cool. I like it a lot more than the original. We also got New Republic prison ship, which, if I remember right, is just sort of a big slab.
I mean, we got the new Chimera. I think qualifies like with the
the
damage on it. That was cool.
And all like the sort of like old repairs running through it. Very cool. And I guess that brings us up to Resistance, huh? I think
Yeah.
all of the aces in Resistance are pretty cool.
Yeah.
All of their ships are neat.
They were cool. I really liked the Fireball, especially. I think that was a great choice for the main character ship. It was the one I liked the best. So,
The T-85 X-wing was kind of, it was a logical design progression, but not particularly interesting.
yeah, agreed.
Um,
We got the red,
TIE Fighter.
like first order interceptor, whatever it's called. Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't anything crazy, but I thought it looked good in red.
We got
Do we have first order bombers in that, or were those?
yeah, that's where they showed up. All the pirate ships were very
They're kind of
cool
cool.
because they were
Yeah,
all like just cobbled together kit bash
prop
junk.
shop things. Yeah, yeah. The one that had like a lambda shuttle built in, kind of the main part of it. That one was really cool. I honestly don't remember the show well enough if there were other ones I'm blanking on.
Yeah, it's not one I think I've
I haven't
watched it.
ever wanted to rewatch it,
I
unfortunately.
think I rewatched it once, like sort of in the background. I'm always like happy when things from that get pulled to other things, like whether it be games or just other media. But I'm not. That doesn't make me go, oh, I want to watch it again. It's just a show full of interesting ideas that never pay off because it
Yeah.
had to end. And it's very clear that it got canceled, but even though they were like, no, this is always the plan, 2 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Into Force Awakens then?
yeah, there are very few ships I like in the sequels.
Yeah, I like the T-70 X-Wing. I think they're cool.
Right, and the only ships I think are decent are the ones that are just very easy uh, redesigns of older ships, like the X-wing and the Tie Fighter.
Yeah.
So I guess my favorite ship in Force Awakens is going to be the Falcon. But
I think for me it would be the X-Wings. What else is there? There's the Resistance Shuttle,
there's
which
the
is kind of dumb.
Sidon Ethano's ship, which is not a good looking ship because it's just like a yellow brick.
Yeah, there's Han's Baleen class. I forget what that's called. It's just a giant box. It's fine for a freighter, but it's not the cool ship in the movie. The new Star Destroyers
Not that good
are
looking.
fine. Yeah, I'm not really into them.
Um,
It's probably everything.
the Quad Jumper
Definitely
is
X-Wings for me.
pretty decent.
Oh, Quad Jumper's cool. Yeah, Quad Jumper.
Um, Last Jedi has the same kind of. It's got a few more new ships, but they're all still pretty boring.
Yeah, there's the Resistance bombers. I'm not really that into.
I liked the vibe of them, like the Flying Fortress deal, but I think it could have been designed maybe a little different because they're like, oh, what if it like a B wing met a B-17 Flying Fortress? And it's like, I don't like those very much.
Yeah. We got the new A-Wing, which I do like. Again, it's like only a slight change, but I do think it looks good. We
Um,
get the Supremacy or whatever it's called,
the
Snoke's Boudoir,
super big one, yeah.
which is
Also,
a cool shape, but it doesn't need to be that big.
right.
That's what she said.
Um,
What else was in there? We
I
we
like the
got
ship that they steal from Canto Bight, that sort of luxury
yeah,
ship. That one's pretty cool.
yeah.
The
It's kind of cool.
Resistance transport that showed up in Force Awakens, that's ugly and boring.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, so
the
I feel
shuttle
like
they
there must
take
be some
to
others.
Cantobite is just part of the transport. Like the cockpit is detachable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Which seems unnecessary to me. I don't know why, but that's fine.
uh,
I don't know. That might be everything in Last Jedi.
Rise of Skywalker. We've got the
Every ship that's ever existed in Star Wars is in Rise of Skywalker,
we've got
technically.
the I actually quite like the Bestun Legacy Ochi ship that they find in the desert that has somehow for the last, 20, 30 years been untouched by looters or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I like the design of that ship. It's
It's
sort of
pretty
quad
cool.
jumpery. Um,
I like
the
the
Knights
Knights
of
of Ren, even though it's kind of silly with the smoke and stuff. I don't
yeah,
know. It's kind of
it's
cool.
goofy, but it's like okay, yeah, they're rolling coal. Uh,
What else?
I don't like the new Y wing because
Agreed.
mostly, well, it doesn't look that interesting, but also just for lore reasons, it's very silly. I think it was probably Pablo mentioned that it was like sort of a if you were like a car collector, this would be the thing you'd go for because you liked the old Y wings. Like it was like a
Yes.
nostalgia release in universe.
Yeah.
Um, because there's no reason why you'd want to like do another Y wing because they're better ships. So I
The
don't.
Resistance B wing also is not that good looking, in my
Wait, there's the
opinion.
Resistance B wing.
Yeah, you see him really briefly on Exegol.
Like, hey JJ, what if you just came up with new ships? There's other letters of the alphabet.
There's the shuttle that they land the horses with, which I don't know. It's not just kind of
Whatever.
a box that the front opens.
There's the
Uh,
whatever class Star Destroyer, the scale depth Star Destroyers.
Zyston.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are bad. Definitely not my favorite. uh, let's see. Of the stuff that jumps in, it's mostly just like a bunch of random shit,
there's
right? You
a
can't really see any of it,
there's a
but
TIE Scout um, that Ben
really?
Solo takes to Exegol because he lands on
Oh,
Exegol
right,
with a
that.
regular looking TIE fighter, so we have to say it's a
Right.
scout because otherwise it wouldn't have a hyperdrive.
Yeah, I forgot about that. uh, I don't know. Trying to think of the "we have more people" or whatever scene. Some people really like that shot. I can't think of any ships that specifically stand out to me as cool enough to pick out from the background. Just a bunch of random
Yeah.
junk. I don't know.
Um,
Man, I'm not really thinking of any ships in that movie that I like other than like the Falcon's still in it, the Tantive 4 is still in it.
Santa 4 blows up. Rip 9 nub.
Yeah.
Um, Red 5 is back.
Yep.
Do you think she tried it out
I
before
mean, based on what
flying
we
off
see, I don't
planet?
think she had time.
So she
Maybe
was
she like
sitting there with
force
like
dried it.
swamp ass the whole trip through the whatever the anomaly is that you have to get through.
I think I think I think there's a montage we see in the
Unless
middle.
unless I mean X-wings are obviously airtight and the cockpit was closed, so maybe there was no water in the cockpit.
There's no way.
After 30, 20 years or whatever underwater. Yeah, she
I think
immediately exits atmosphere and turns out it's not airtight anymore. It just dies. Just explodes from decompression.
that's a good point, but I'm imagining they open it and like all these fish swim out of it, and R2 like gets out a blow dryer attachment and they just started like trying to dry it out. That's what I think happens.
Oh man. Okay, back to Geonosians and references for a second. Look
Uh-huh.
at that first picture I posted. The little pokies on
Uh-huh.
that guy's collarbones definitely look organic in that artwork.
Yeah, it's the same color as his skin.
But
I
in the live
mean,
action, it's more ambiguous again. And
yeah, I think it's got to be like a bronze,
yeah,
basically.
uh I'm gonna paint the armor some kind of gold or bronze. It looks like in that art, even his little blaster is like gold and black, which is kind of cool. I need to see if I can find a better
Yeah.
reference for the gun because now I just have to paint the armor and the guns.
You're right, though. I think you can kind of see that in the live action photo too. Around the barrel, it's black. It's like a matte black or something. It's kind of
Yeah,
cool,
it looks like
actually.
it's yeah. It
It's like a
here's a
dark
different.
red.
I'm gonna post a different picture on the Discord. That one is sort of a mix
Ooh.
between the two. You can tell that it's like a bronze. Those pokies, they're not
Hmm.
an organic thing. I need to get a back shot because I think maybe there's a spike between their wings. That might also be part of the armor. So I should paint that bronze as well.
Yeah,
Because it
in
would make
that
sense
last
that
photo, it looks like that.
their top, their little like bralette would have holes in the back for the wings. It's hard to find.
And the barrel looks black again too on that last one,
It's hard to
which
find.
is interesting.
Yeah, there's an image from a video game where the gun is just gray. I think having them
Hmm.
be some kind of gold or brass. Uh,
It sounds fun.
yeah, and if I ever get a different squad, I can just alter the color of the metallic I use. So like this will be gold squad, and if I get another one that can be like brass, bronze, brass, gold, uh, whatever other colors are
Do a
nearly
silver one
indistinguishable.
even. Yeah.
Yeah.
That action figure is like green
Oh,
gray or almost
that's a
even like a blue
zombie.
gray.
That's like
Oh,
brain worms
okay, okay.
one.
Yeah, you can see the armor at least.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that case closed there. Now I just need to decide. Yeah, I think I'll just paint the guns metallic. Whatever I use for the armor, the guns will match the armor, and then they have little red gems in their armor.
You could do a different color gem for
Oh,
each squad.
here's a perfect reference for the gun.
Oh, wow. From
Looks like it.
Clone Wars?
That's what it looks like. It's from an ArtStation page, so it might just be somebody's thing, but it. Oh no, that's from Rebels. If you notice the little reference dummy in the silhouette is a stormtrooper. Must
Oh,
have
good
been
point.
Click Clack must have had one, or it must have been episode 312. Yes, it's from Rebels when they're on Geonosis. It might have just been a prop in the background.
Yeah,
So
that's a really good reference.
got a wood stock. Call it a black barrel and a lot of gold trim. Sure, easy
Cool.
enough.
All too easy.
Yeah, I think these guys look pretty snazzy for just however long that took me. Hour and a half.
Oh, yeah. Nate in the chat says, "What do you
Oh,
think of the bug rules?"
the bug rules. Uh like just how
Yeah,
they
like the
play.
Geonosian stats.
Yeah, so I got in one game with them so far at our local Legion thing, and I had Poggle, Sunfac, and one Geonosian Warriors, obviously, because I wanted to get them all on the table. And then I had four B2s and two B1s, which was a lot of fun. So I really like their stats. I love the jump three. Sunfac, people are telling me he's bad. My one game, I think I only won because of him and his speed. He's cool also that he has built-in cover one, but he doesn't hit very hard, and his command cards and his abilities aren't great if you are only using one Geonosian Warriors. Kind of wants like if you had like a bunch of Geonosian Warriors instead of Battle Droids, Sunfac would probably be better. But Poggle also another issue I had with Sunfac was he has retinue Poggle, so he wants to be around Poggle, but he's also really fast and wants to do objectives, whereas Poggle is slower and wants to hang out in the back. So that never really
Yeah, that would be
happened.
tough.
Um, so Sunfac might be the weak link here, but the Warriors were fun. The jump they get is very fun. I enjoyed that a lot. Their weapons were, they each roll a black white, so they hit really hard if you get them into range, which is not too tough to do because they get a free jump. And Poggle was kind of meh, except for his command cards were amazing. Which so
Okay.
he's because I'm like I wish he had like a portable scanner or something so he could hand out tokens, but everything was on his like upgrades and his command cards and like but he also won the game because my warriors and Sun Fac locked down the payload to prevent it from moving. My opponent was forced to rush Cassian over to break the tie to get his cart to move, which was his only option at that point. And because he had to pull Cassian out, I could finally get eyes on him with all of my B2s. And one of Poggle's cards lets him issue orders to some friendlies nearby and then make 2 attack actions on his turn. And the people who got the orders get fire support. So I pulled
Wow.
Cassian out of cover, and then the start of the next turn, Poggle shot at him with the full arsenal of a B2 squad and just nuked him. And I didn't even need to
Wow.
use the second one. And then he conceded at that point because without Cassian, he didn't think he could pull it off. And I had stopped his cart for 1 or 2 turns with the other Geonosians. So their speed is good. They throw a lot of dice. Sunfac, maybe meh. Poggle, worth it for his command cards alone. Um, and I just think the minis are so fun on the table.
They
So for
sound like a new play style, or slightly different play style from other stuff we have, which sounds fun.
yeah, so for the moment, I am very pleased and happy with them. Um, I wish Sunfac had a little bit more damage output because I really like the mini. I like having an operative who can, if he wants to, move 3 times on his turn. But
Did
it
you
is
find yourself with the Warriors doing like a jump out of cover, shoot, and then jump back in?
yeah.
Were you able to make something
Yeah,
like that work?
I did
Nice.
like a move shoot and then use the free jump to get him back to safety at one point, which was also very handy because very few
That's
units in the
classic.
game can do that.
Yeah. And back when I used to play 40K, I mean, that was the play style of the army that I had, which was Tau. They all had little jetpacks, so they jump out and shoot and then hide. And the enemy's like, well, there's nothing to shoot because they all hit again, which is fun. It sounds a lot like that.
Yeah, so I mean I love Poggle with the uh, his command cards. So I don't and his command cards mostly support battle droids, not Geonosians. So it's hard to want to get more of these guys just because like it felt so good just to have like one like running interference on the side while the rest of my droids like pushed. So I probably end up getting a second squad, but probably not more than that.
But I do think that sounds good too for most players like me, uh, who I don't think I would ever get multiple. It's nice to be like, okay, I can still use these and kind of sprinkle them in to my main droid list, like
Yeah,
Poggle's still useful to the rest of the separatists.
and
That
because
sounds
it's
good.
not like a battle force sort of thing, like Ewoks,
Yeah.
you're not like with Ewoks, you feel a lot more kind of incentivized to try and buy a bunch of them. Where with these guys, I think you could be happy with just one box or two, and that would be enough. I don't see
Can't
myself
forget.
getting more than a second thing of warriors.
Yeah. Cost wise, are they like much more expensive than like B ones, for example?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Because I'm wondering, like, if you're thinking about spamming them to have a super mobile list, do you end up having like way more expensive units than a typical separatist list? Maybe
I
not. They
mean, it
might
doesn't
not
get
be
much
expensive. I don't
cheaper
know.
than the B1, so
Yeah.
the warriors are 45 points, whereas a B2 is 45. They're the same as a B2.
Oh,
They're B1s are 38, Black Sun are 50, Pikes are 44, slightly 1 point cheaper the Pikes. So they're the same as the B2s, which
but
a lot of
and then once
people.
you add like heavy weapons,
The Geonosians come with two heavy weapons. The game I played, I had the Pike, the Force Pike, which didn't do too much because it's just a melee weapon and they never got into melee. But it's a lot cheaper than the Sonic Cannon. Um, yeah, they aren't as they don't have as much damage output as B2s, but they're a lot more mobile. So some people, or probably a lot of people, say B2s are overcosted, but I don't know. I feel like I
they
always
seem like
get
they
my
have their
money's.
place.
Yeah, I always, whenever I played them, I always feel like I get my money's worth. I didn't even get a chance to use his We Build Machines command card, which lets you
Oh
just
yeah,
plop a mini back on to every unit that got a order.
that sounds fun.
Because I also both my B1s had um, PK worker droids, so I'm like, okay, I just want to do the most like endless army I can here with repairing these guys.
Mhm. Mhm. Can the Geonosians take the other um,
Personnel
personnel
upgrades.
upgrades?
Oh,
Yeah, like the droids, like a tactical droid or something like that, or is there a reason they can't do that?
um,
I don't
the
know that it helps them, but I wonder if one of those is like an
I
interesting. I mean, they could take like a medical droid,
let's see, personnel.
like flies around with them or
They
something.
seem to be limited to just their guy, at least in this list builder. The
Maybe they errated them or something,
oh,
because it feels like it'd be weird.
they all say droid trooper only,
Okay, that makes
but
sense.
there's maybe a small chance that the medical droid on the separatists gets a little bit more value if there's people running a lot of Geonosians, because
They could kind of flee back and heal and
right,
then go
these
back
guys are
in.
the first like non-droid unit for the separatists that isn't an operative or a commander.
Mhm.
Definitely going to hit this bronze with some Agrax Earthshade, because I don't want it to be like super shiny and clean. These guys live on a dusty planet. They're gross little bugs. But I don't know. I enjoyed uh, having these guys on the table, and I'm looking forward to playing them again. They look cool, and they do just the way they operate is very different from I think anything in the game right now, which is fun. They
Yeah,
weren't
it feels.
particularly like once they started getting shot, they were dropping pretty quick. So they're not. They just roll white with blocks on defense or surge on defense. Poggle does not surge on defense, which
Oh,
sucks. He's a squishy bug, but that's why I gave him esteemed leader. So hopefully, I'll if he just stays in the horde of droids, they'll just guardian for him, but
that makes sense.
doesn't help with crits.
Yeah, I mean, they sound fun to me. Like you said, they're just kind of different from other units, especially other separatist units, and that sounds really fun to try. I have to wonder if people will find a use for spamming them, like if it's full enough to take it as all your core units. I'm sure someone will try because there's always people trying
I
to max everything.
think
It doesn't seem like it would end up working that well, but
I th-
maybe it would.
if you can somehow try and force breakthrough, they might be really good because unless you're playing against somebody with speeder bikes or yeah, speeder bikes are probably the only thing that could keep up with them in speed because Mandos aren't even that fast, but Mandos might be a better all-arounder than them just because you can't like if you're playing with Mandalorians, a bunch of Mandalorians on Shadow Collective or Rebels, you want breakthrough or payload because they're really good at getting those bombs across the field really fast. Whereas these guys would not be so good at the bombs because they can't jump when they have an objective token.
Although they're still fast, right? They still,
They're
if
just
they're
speed two.
walking. Oh, okay. So yeah, nothing. They can get to it quickly, but they can't retreat with it very
Right.
fast. I wonder if there would be value in not only like doing a max Geonosian list, but then also taking mercenaries and throw. Well, do the factions work? Can you take swoop bikes in Separatists? Maybe you can't. Maybe you can.
Hmm.
And so you have like an
I'm
all maximum speed type list. Uh, Maybe you also throw in
Lightning McQueen.
staps or something like that, or maybe if you can't take swoops, maybe you just take staps.
Oh yeah,
And
I forgot that's a thing.
would
I've never actually
I don't know
played
if
with
anyone
them.
uses them.
I have I have one and I have never used it.
Oh wow, that's looking very green now, but I do like it.
The the wings or
Yeah, the wings especially,
the wings are
but
pretty green.
and I think the wings being green kind of makes the body look more green to me too, or maybe it's just the
Yeah,
light is a little different, but I do really like it.
I'm trying to like
But
decide
yeah, I wonder.
exactly what to paint this bronze because you can they have like do I go back in and because if you see on this guy, I did not paint like his pecs because I thought it was part of his little top. But in a lot of the reference, it seems like the top is only this V
That
here.
V, yeah.
But then, like this bit on his back, where that little poker is between his wings, seems like that's also supposed to be
I have to
part of the
connect
armor.
somehow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it just connects right up here.
kind of around the
Mm.
neck. I don't
This
know.
guy I painted with the full like top. I don't. Maybe I should paint it just the V. Go back and paint the chests on these other guys. Yeah, I'll do that. Less metallic
Yeah,
will look better.
I was thinking. I wonder if a like an all speed list archetype like that has room in Legion. I feel like it's probably not good enough, but I mean, when I compare it to a game like 40K, I feel like that's always been one of the big archetypes. And it's been a long time since I played. I don't keep up with the current, but when I played, I remember there always being for several different factions. There were these all speed archetypes, and it was the type of thing I hated to face. But they did very well. Where if your units are so fast, you do the I mean, it's different because like the way the turn structure works, the way the deployment structure works is all very different. But you would have these people who would play, and they'd be like, "Okay, you deploy first. You spread out your army, however, well, I'm going to put all my army in this corner after you, and they're so fast they can get anywhere on the board that I want. And so I will have all my army attack, you know, one quarter of your army, and the rest of your army doesn't play the game, and you have to put up with it. That's how I've chosen to play the game. Now you have to play that with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just kind of screwed when you face it. I doubt that would work as well in Legion, but it would be interesting to see a different archetype kind of have some place in the game, you know? So I wonder.
Yeah, and breakthrough and payload are the objectives that are the best for speed stuff. So,
But
hmm.
I feel like even outside of the objectives, it feels like there's some room for that type of archetype where you're like, regardless of the objectives, I can go wherever I want and you cannot. And that lets me control like what things I attack. And if you played it right, that could be very powerful. But yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe they would be screwed on most objectives. Maybe they wouldn't be able to hold objectives in most of the mission types. I don't know.
Also, I think a lot of the speed you get is you don't get any durability. None of the
Hmm.
fast things are durable, which might be a
You would need like the
problem.
right terrain, basically.
But if everything is fast, then yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It would be interesting to see. Even though honestly skeptical, I'm just kind of curious. Be interesting to see people try it. Uh, I'm sure not going to buy six Geonosians or whatever. I don't know exactly how the points work out, but yeah,
I mean, you could probably do 6G, and let's. I'm gonna.
Roxium, I guess, but
Can I?
six Geonosians and three Staps or something. It sounds dumb.
Let's see. I'm gonna try something real quick.
Flying circus
Ah, look at
at
that.
that point.
Um, do you see this? Is this coming through? So I'll do
Oh, yeah, there we go.
six
I'm
of
just a
these
bit behind.
guys. Um, I guess Sunfac is the fastest of those guys. How does his cost? Oh yeah, he's cheaper than Cat Bane. We want a couple Snaps. I mean, Droidicas are fast too, but
Yeah, I mean,
quite
I
as
would take swoop
reliably
bikes
fast.
if that's possible,
Can we take swoop
but
bikes? Doesn't look like
but
it. Do
maybe
we
just
need
spamming
to?
Staps is the easier.
Do we need a dude with underworld connections?
I mean, you should be able to take one if you can take any. So they must not be that faction, I guess.
Yeah, I
I just
think
don't
they're
remember.
just. I think swoops are just rebels and Shadow Collective. I mean, we're already at 10 activations with barely 600 points. So then we can throw in this thing with a field commander, 11 activations. I don't know, what do we got left here? A couple of strike teams. Oop, now we're over. So you know what? You can do it points wise because the six warriors, Sunfac, three Staps. There's 10 units of pure speed and nothing else.
Yeah.
And you'll
I
have,
like having the AAT in there as like one super tough unit that
yeah,
isn't
they're either going to be
super slow.
shooting all of these zippy guys or focusing on that tank. You gotta like commit early if you want to take out a tank.
Hmm.
There you have it. Bug speed is what we're gonna call it.
You heard it here first.
Lightning McQueen of the Geonosians.
Flying bug circus. I don't know. Sunfax Flying Circus.
Hmm.
Or maybe instead of a tank, you throw in another operative and you have like Maul with 4 speed or
Oh
Asajj with
yeah,
4 speed, something like that.
Maul can be pretty fast. Well, if somebody buys me 4 Geonosians, I'll try that.
How would you paint them all?
Um, I would just alternate the values of the brown and green in these skin colors and do different shades of metal on the armor. This is a pretty fast
Wow, that one looks really
color
good.
scheme I've got here.
Good pose.
Yeah, I like this guy. I'm gonna have to hit all their little eyes with black. Maybe a tiny dot of white in each black too, so they look a little squinty. But definitely gonna go over all this metal with a wash. I don't like how it looks as is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The wash
Like a
will dull it down, and then also pick the details back out on the little skirt. There's a lot of little filigree and stuff on there.
Yeah, I
Card
could see
piece.
some Agrax working on there because you get kind of the warm brown
Mm-hmm.
undertones in there. And I'm about to finish up the last base on my last skeleton, and I should probably call it good there. It's probably not worth putting any more effort than I've already done.
So how many skeletons total?
7. There's 3 with axes, 3 with bows, and then this random dwarf skeleton that's kind of cool. They're not really anything special, but I don't know. It was kind of nice to do a little change of pace, I guess.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
been
was
getting burnt out on constant sci-fi stuff.
about to start painting the minis for the expansion of Stuffed Fables. Here's a unicorn plushie. Here's I think this guy's name is Manny, some kind of He-Man action figure. And then I don't know what this is, some kind of villain. Some weird little robo bed bugs and stuff. So I'm gonna start painting those up, but then these came in the mail and I said, well, these are now my priority. Once I finish
Yeah,
these,
those are fun.
I'll work on Stuffed Fables, and then once I get through that, then I'll try and go back to Shatterpoint because I only have the Windu pack and the Padme pack are the only characters left in Shatterpoint for me to paint.
And Luke's going to come out in January.
Yeah,
So
so
if
it
you
would be
line stuff
nice.
up till then.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get fully caught up before the next stuff comes out. And then I still have to paint Ahsoka for Legion, which I want to do soon because I haven't played with her yet, and I want to play with Ahsoka and Sabine because
Hmm.
Sabine's always been one of my favorite Legion units, and now she has more synergy of options.
It would certainly be cool thematically to pair them up. I honestly don't remember anything about Ahsoka's stats or command cards, but it
She,
would be
I think
fun
she
to
can
figure out how to make it
spend
work.
dodges on offense or something. I forget.
Oh, she has the same keyword that Asajj has, doesn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, spend a dodge on offense to change it or change a die or something.
Yeah, and she
That's
has a command
interesting.
card that gives her teamwork Sabine Wren.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be great.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I really want to
Sabine,
try
I
those out.
remember always being really fun. I found her really fun to pair with Jin, so I bet she could pair with other people good too.
Yeah, I have always Sabine and Han have always been some of my favorite Rebel pieces. All right, I think I'll probably finish these guys up later. I got all the big heavy lifting done of the skin and surmounting the obstacle of what color do I even use? Because these guys have definitely been the hardest to figure out just what paints to use and where to start.
I do think they look really good though. And being able to save so much time with those contrasts, because otherwise that big squad would be, for me at least, I'd be like, oh, this is going to be so much work. Not into the big squads anymore.
Yeah, for me that's contrast paint stuff, especially with Shatterpoint. It's like, well, I'd like to take my time on these nice big Shatterpoint minis and all these like multitudinous tiny Legion ones. Will get the contrast treatment, except for like the unique characters in Legion. We'll see. Maybe if I've never like I don't think half-ass is the right word, but I've never like skimped on any of my rebel units. But also, it's been a
Hmm.
long time since like a core unit type thing has come out for the rebels. So we'll see if
Yeah.
when those saboteurs come out, if I feel like taking my time with them or not. This guy finish up this guy's gun. I guess I'll.
Yeah, it gets to be a slog. I had a lot of fun painting the rebel troopers I have, but they just have so many different details, and I gotta paint them all different colors. I have to make their belt and their pants and their shirt and their jacket and their coat and their hat like all different,
Yeah, I
and it
would.
makes it take so long. Even with contrast, it's just like too many different colors.
Mine were all like, okay, well, you guys are the yellow and purple guys, so this guy's got yellow pants and a purple shirt, but that guy's got purple pants and a yellow shirt, and like, so they were all the same colors. It's just what part of them I was painting those colors would change from mini to mini. That's how I did most of my rebels, so I could still like do assembly line, do them quick, but they would, they weren't all identical, but they matched. All right, this little guy is going to be our stopping point of the night. Feeling pretty good about how they turned out. I will maybe I'll post a little video to the channel when I finish all of them if I have any thoughts. Otherwise, just be sure to join our Discord and look in the painting channel where we share all of our painting progress. Why is the colors flashing like that? You see that? The camera
Yeah, I don't
keeps
know. The camera's trying to adjust. Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, I think you could do a quick video showing the paint jobs and giving the recipe. I bet people would like that and then it would be ready before they come out.
mm-hmm.
I bet people would like that.
That they would, wouldn't they? Too bad. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Happy to have you. We'll see you next time.